protecting Main Street from Wall Street. It's Chris Hoffman with Money Unleashed.
How much money do you put into your checking account from work on a month-to-month basis? It has a high probability that with your investable assets, we can replace that paycheck.
It's time to put you back in control of your money.
You've worked for 35 years. It's time for you to not stress. It's time for you to enjoy and live the retirement you want to live.
It's Money Unleashed with Chris Hoffman.
Welcome into the Money Unleashed podcast with Chris Hoffman. We've got another great discussion lined up for you today, and we appreciate you taking time to check out the show. So make sure you're subscribed to Money Unleashed wherever you get your podcasts. New episodes come your way on Mondays and Fridays. Chris, we will, of course, dive into the first show of the new year, but can you believe it's already 2026? I got to ask you, because I haven't figured out the answer to this. Where does the time go?
I don't know, and I'm older than you are, so I can tell you without a doubt that the years go by faster and faster and faster as you get older. But 2025 was a blink. Now we're into 2026. Everybody needs to take a deep breath and slow their life down, I think, and enjoy it while we can and while we're still young and healthy. But here we are, 2026.
Yep.
That ball drops, and we're off to the races again.
We're going to do a lot in the 365 days that are offered to us on the 2026 calendar.
Yep.
A few of them may have ticked away already, but we got a lot of time to accomplish a lot of things financially.
I'm ready to start it financially with all of our clients and all of our listeners. It's going to be a busy year. We've got a lot to impart over the next 12 months and stay very, very close to our clients and listeners and make sure they live their best financial life every year and every month of 2026.
Well, let's dive into some of the opportunities that are ahead of us, because a new year, I think, is always viewed as a new opportunity, and we're all focusing on that in the early going. At least I hope so. And Chris, we know that the time is always ticking, and we have to be diligent when it comes to our financial lives. And while we're grinding through those days and weeks and months and years of our career, a decade can all of a sudden pass by. So the question I'd throw out here to start is, how do we make sure that we're making the most of our time? Because that remains our most precious asset in our financial life as well, doesn't it?
There's no question about it that time is the biggest asset we have. And it's the hardest to manage, right? All of our listeners know it, and we know it. You got work, you've got family, you've got things that come up, health, obviously. So time is compressed, and we live in a world where all the information comes so fast at us, we get overwhelmed. So financially, for our listeners, and we'll remind our clients of this, you've got to lean on your professional team, that fiduciary advisory team that you work with. So I would literally make a quick call or send a quick email and engage your advisor through a request. Don't ask them how things are going or ask them what they think of the market conditions, et cetera, et cetera. Ask them to do an analysis. Ask them to update your financial plan. Ask them to tell you how you did in 2025 versus benchmarks. Don't just accept, well, you're up 10%, you had a great year. You're up 15%, you had a great year. Ask them, how did I perform versus appropriate benchmarks? Ask them to introduce two, maybe unique to your portfolio and your life, investment options as far as different asset classes. Ask them to rerun your income plan with different inflationary numbers. Ask them to propose 2 additional tax strategies for your portfolio. I mean, I'm just talking out loud based on that question that you asked me, and I just came up with 3, 4, 5 things. But don't just reach out to your financial advisor and ask them, how are things going? Reach out and ask them to work. Put them to task. It's the new year. They should have all the energy in the world. Let's put these financial advisors to work for you to get your financial life buttoned up, rock solid. And I'll tell you, just a little inside baseball, your financial advisor, it will force them to think, not outside the box, not on the bleeding edge, but it will get them to really dive into your financial life, exclusive of the market, exclusive of all their other clients. You will break from being in the herd, and you will be looked at as that individual. So they'll notice something in your financial life or in your portfolio or in your financial mix or your plan or your income stream or your taxes that possibly or most likely can be improved. And I think that's a big key going into 2026, folks.
Absolutely. Let's delve into some numbers I found from U.S. News and World Report, a 2026 investment outlook, which revealed nearly 2/3 of institutional investors around the world believe that artificial intelligence will supercharge an uptick in equities next year. That certainly sounds optimistic,
Yep.
but that's tempered by nearly half who are concerned about a bubble. Now, big picture, the same survey cautioned that inflation, valuations, and interest rates are all tied as the top portfolio threats heading into 2026. So let me ask it this way, Chris. There are a lot of things out there, and we don't know what's ahead, but we can plan by learning from what we've seen in the past. So how should people, particularly those saving for retirement, view the opportunities and the potential threats to their portfolios as we start a new year?
Yeah, so this is where a little bit of financial advisory wisdom comes in, right? So I reflect back on 2020 and 2021 and the dot-com bubble that burst. Now, different set of financials, folks. You can't compare, and I won't name some of those older companies that failed, but during the dot-com bubble, they were EBITDA positive and didn't have earnings.
Right.
You look at NVIDIA and Apple and Google, there are substantial earnings there. So two different platforms, but this AI revolution or potential bubble has certainly got ahead of itself quite a bit, and there will be some fallout. Now, how much fallout? It's going to be a normal cycle, folks. It's going to hit some companies. It will draw down the sector a little bit if there is and I wouldn't call it necessarily a big, massive bubble that's going to burst. Let's call it a balloon that starts to leak.
Okay.
But you're going to have that leakage. So I'm not overly panicked about the AI bump. I think you should stay engaged and talk to your financial advisor about how much of your portfolio is appropriate to have tied to it. But it's funny how, and I'm watching this cycle over many decades in the market. The market gets focused on the hot new shiny toy.
Right.
And AI is the hot new shiny toy. Interestingly enough, they're discounting or largely eliminating from the conversation that job layoffs are in excess of 1 million. There are 1 million layoffs that happened toward the end of 2025, which is the highest number of job layoffs since 2020. So those are the type of things that good financial advisory teams, I think, put into balance with AI, not just looking at the AI bubble or whether it's going to continue. Because good financial services and good financial management is not guessing. It's just hedging. You don't want to get out of your skis with it, but you want to participate in it. But you've got to look at all the metrics. And one of the big metrics out there is job layoffs. So what happens? This country was built on the middle class, the working families, industrial eras, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And if we lose too many of these jobs, and they're not repositionable, meaning you can't go from an engineer over here to a doctor, right? That's a gross example.
Sure.
But, if we can't get the workforce to kind of meld into a new economy, that could be a stumbling block. I believe that it eventually happens naturally over generations, but there could be some, I would, again, term it as some air gets let out of the balloon potentially. So those are all the things that you want your financial advisory team to pay attention to, talk to you about, verbalize their stance on it. So you can either challenge it or you can agree with it, but it's important to keep the lines of communication open with you and your advisory team.
Well, if you've listened to Money Unleashed for any amount of time, or even if you're tuning in for the first time today, you know we don't bring up challenges without discussing potential solutions and strategies to help you face them. So, Chris, what can Hoffman Financial Group offer to help people build this financial momentum for the new year?
Yeah, so we make it simple, right? And it goes back to saving people time. Don't worry about you having to work with us. We work for you. So if you were to reach out to us, we would start with something as simple as the portfolio x-ray. Simple as far as your time that you need to provide us some data points on, but we'll take the hours and we'll apply our expertise and our tools to generate a comprehensive look at your financial life. Specifically, your risk profile, the fees in your portfolio, the performance over last year, 3 years, 5 years, the last 10 years against benchmarks. We'll also stress test it to see if we were to see an AI bubble. Can we go back in time and say what would have happened to your portfolio during the Great Recession or the dot-com bubble that burst or the COVID correction? So we can't nail it because it'll be a new type of pullback in the market, but it'll give you an indication of how much your money is at risk. And I think that all of those components mixed into one simple 10 to 14 page report. We'll give you a copy of it. We'll walk you through it. So you don't have to waste time engaging our financial advisory team and explaining everything to them. And why don't we start with this? Why don't we ask you less questions and show you more reports and results on your current life? Let's not worry about when you become a client or if you become a client, what we're going to do with your financial life. Let's give you a good, solid footing on where you are today. And that doesn't require us doing a massive interview for a client for an hour. And I think that's kind of turned people off toward engaging, picking up the phone or going online and engaging to get those types of results. We'll make it easy for you. It'll be an exercise that I believe you will value, and you'll be able to take it home with you.
Yeah, and what Chris is talking about here is that portfolio X-ray. It is a great first step to getting organized financially. And I know a lot of people, myself included, have that on the 2026 resolutions list to get organized, and it does extend to your financial life. So whether you've never really sat down to do this planning before, or you've already had some discussions and you've got a generalized idea of it, why not take advantage of this offer? To get this information, it costs you nothing but a little time and a phone call to get started. 404-341-6767 is the phone number, 404-341-6767, or head on over to unleashyourmoney.com and click on that Portfolio X-ray button right there. Chris Hoffman is an investment advisor representative of Brookstone Wealth Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor and affiliate of Brookstone Capital Management, LLC. BWA and Hoffman Financial Group are affiliated under common ownership. Registered investment advisors and investment advisor representatives act as fiduciaries for all of our investment management clients. We have an obligation to act in the best interest of our clients and to make full disclosures of any conflicts of interest. Please refer to our firm brochure, the ADV 2A, page 4, for additional information. The Hoffman Financial Group and WSB are not affiliated. Exposure to ideas and financial vehicles discussed should not be considered investment advice or recommendation to buy or sell any financial vehicle. This information should not be considered tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with a professional specializing in the field of tax, legal, accounting, or investments regarding the applicability of this information for their situation. Any client experiences discussed during the show are unique to that client. They are not meant to imply or suggest you will experience the same results. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Investments will fluctuate and when redeemed may be worth more or less than when originally invested. Any comments regarding safe and secure products and guaranteed income streams refer only to fixed insurance products. They do not refer in any way to securities or investment advisory products. Fixed insurance and annuity product guarantees are subject to the claims paying ability of the issuing company and are not offered by Brookstone. Index or fixed annuities are not designed for short-term investments and may be subject to caps, restrictions, fees, and surrender charges as described in the annuity contract. Please refer to our firm brochure, the ADV 2A, item 4, for additional information. Hoffman Financial Group is not affiliated with or endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency. Insurance licensed in Georgia, number 163546.